Hello, everybody. Saigan Cat here with something a little bit different. Many of you know I've been playing Warframe for about the last year. What many of you don't know is that I've really been wanting to get more people into it, and the Switch release is an excellent opportunity. Oh, there's another loading screen. I thought I was prepared. So, for the uninitiated, Warframe is a free-to-play, online action loot 'em up shooter. If you wanted to compare it directly to another game, the most obvious comparison would be Destiny, and it would still only be slightly correct. Whereas other loot 'em up games have a focus on, yes, I agree. Whereas other loot 'em up games have a focus on getting lots and lots of weapon drops. Warframe instead, and randomized weapons, Warframe instead focuses on resource drops with a lot of crafting. And if Warframe has any one ability, it's that it doesn't communicate what it wants from you very well. Which is why I'm doing this video. The vast majority of the time, those who start playing Warframe aren't going to continue playing it. I'm gonna give a solid guess that most people who try out Warframe, 9 out of 10 people are gonna play it for an hour or two and stop because it doesn't feel like it's what they want, or they don't feel like they have enough guidance.
You've slept.
No story.
No purpose. No call to wake you. But now, something has risen from the ruins of the old war.
Let's go.
The twin queens, the sisters, have sent their most beloved commander, Vor, on an urgent mission. To protect the twisted crusade they have begun. To transform the scattered colonies into an empire. To see that the Tenno, hidden and asleep, will never awake.
I got caught.
All right. So instead of getting a character creation screen, which is typical for most online MMOs, you are instead given a choice of 3 Warframes: Excalibur, Mag, and Volt. And there's a couple of different schools of thought on deciding which one you'd like to take. Excalibur is a very common first Warframe, and this is for a couple of reasons. He has the most survivability, which is super freaking important when you're starting out, even though the game difficulty doesn't really get up there for a while. In addition to that, he most personifies how the developers kind of want you to play the game. They want you to get in there. They want you to be highly mobile, and they want you to be a space ninja. Another good reason for selecting Excalibur is that these Warframes are kind of collectible classes or characters. as you start getting like hundreds of hours into the game, you're going to build up a collection of Warframes, and you're going to start customizing them, and you're really going to get a feel for which ones are your favorites and what your own personal playstyle is. Excalibur is a good first choice because he's also a little bit of a pain in the ass to get later, whereas Mag and Volt are much, much easier to obtain later. But you can get all three of these Warframes through gameplay. It's just so happens that Excalibur is kind of the biggest pain in the ass. Mag and Volt, if I were to try and compare them to other games and how you would pick other characters in other games, I would describe them as kinds of casters. With Mag having magnetic focused abilities and Volt having electric focused abilities. Volt's primary skills are he gets an energy shield, he has 2 different lightning attacks, one is kind of a single target but it chains, another one is a giant room clearing AoE, and he's also got a speed boost. Volt is incredibly fast. If you want to be super damn mobile and just blasting through missions as fast as you can, Volt is a great choice. Mag has this weird reputation within the community. At first glance, comparing her to other Warframes, she's not that great. But to those who spend the time getting into Mag, they're going to find her to be absolutely incredible. It's just not obvious how she can be used at first. But her basic abilities: pull, she can scorpion guys towards her, but she can do it in groups. Magnetize is hilariously good and works with bullets. You can magnetize enemies, and then you can fire bullets at them, and bullets will be drawn to them. And then there's Polarize, which is stupid. It depletes enemy shields and armor, combined with Magnetize and like a good shotgun or anything that fires off a lot of spray. This Mag will wreck bosses. Mag is a boss killer, and she is really, really good at it. And then there's Crush, which is her AoE. It's comparable to Volt's Discharge, but it's not as good. For the purpose of this Let's Play, I'm going to go with Excalibur. Typically, I'm a Volt man, but with the expectation that Excalibur is who I would normally recommend to new players, I will also play Excalibur right now.
Wake up, Tenno.
I see the Lotus has tried to wake you. Pity she's too late. You're my prize now, Tenno. No. We are taking this one with us.
What has he done to you? I can't lose another Tenno. I am surging through Warframe's power systems. Quick, use your power. Defend yourself.
This is a very brief combat tutorial. What we're doing right now, and what the game doesn't tell you, is that holding down R activates your abilities. If you look down in the bottom right-hand corner, holding down R... Odysee, you're interrupting.
The Grineer will be hunting you. Arm yourself.
Now that she's done. If you hold down R, it opens up kind of a ability wheel down at the bottom right. And right now, we only have our dashing sword ability, /dash, on R and B. Now, before we leave this room, I'm going to cover something that's super important to the gameplay that it never really covers for you, and that's movement. What I'm doing right now is not something that the game ever hands to you, but it's one of the reasons that the game is so much fun and so damned enjoyable. And we're going to start with the basic. We're going to start with the bullet jump. The bullet jump is performed by ducking or sliding, which is done by, you know, ducking while sliding. It's going to be your left bumper on most consoles, or the L1 button. And all you do to bullet jump is you point in the direction you want to bullet jump, you crouch, or you slide, and you jump. Now this can be done in any direction. And it's going to be your primary momentum builder for movement. You can also roll for fast momentum. You can roll into a slide, into a bullet jump, into a double jump. So with these abilities, you can clear a room very quickly. You can also glide with L2 or R2, depending on whether you're using a melee or a primary or secondary weapon. Primary and secondary weapons, default glide is going to be L2, which is your aim button. It will feel kind of like bullet time, but it is in fact not. If you're using a melee weapon, then you'll do it with the R2 button, which is also your block button. And my biggest advice to a new player would be to get used to doing this all the time. Get used to bullet jumping. Get used to rolling. Get used to the movement system, because it's going to help you keep up with groups. It's going to astound your friends who are new to the game. Oh, right, one more thing. There is wall jumping. You can time it if you so desire, or you can just hold jump up against a wall. You can reach a lot of areas that you might otherwise not expect to reach. There's also a wall cling, which is performed by holding the glide button when up against the wall. Well, we'll see if we can get it. There it is. And this lasts a good deal of time, and you can actually make it last longer, but it does not last forever. There, it just dropped off now. Okay, so let's continue. Again, remember... Oh, right, sprinting. I didn't even mention that. Okay. But the tutorial's kind enough to tell you about sprinting. You click in on the left thumbstick and you start sprinting like this instead of this. Like this. Melee weapon isn't going to matter too much. Both the bow and the sword that you get at the beginning are pretty damn quick. The bow has better range. I believe this sword might have slightly better damage. We're going to go with the bow. Mess around with it for a little bit. Got basic attacks. It does have a stealth attack. If you slide with a weapon, you'll do a spinning attack. This is really, really good. Your spin attack is stupidly good. And with a little bit of practice, you'll be spin attacking through missions, no problem.
There's a cache of weapons ahead. Grab what you can.
Now, during the onset, you're going to be given a choice between a primary and secondary weapon. For both your primary and secondaries, there's going to be a stealth option. For secondaries, we have a Lato, which is a pistol, and we have the kunai, which are throwing knives. Now, they're all perfectly acceptable choices. And one of the nice things about Warframe is that outside of these starter weapons, almost any weapon can be good. Depends on how you mod them. We'll get into mods later. I'm going to be taking a silent secondary weapon because I already know that I want the rifle for my main. There's no wrong choice. Having a silent weapon will be of great use.
Is up ahead. Hurry before Vor finds out you've escaped.
Thank you, Lotus. God, you're so interrupty today. Who shot me? Somebody shot me. You shot me. You hold L2 to aim. You can just throw from the hip. That's fine. Strangely enough, throwing knives do require reloading. If you look in the bottom right, I have 10 of them readied. After I've thrown them, you can hit Y on the Switch to reload, but that's going to be X on the Xbox One, or square on the PS2. The reason I recommend picking one silent and one noisy weapon is that the noisy weapons tend to do more damage faster. The silent weapons, though, however, don't alert enemies, which is super freaking... Let's see if we can headshot him from here. Yeah, which is super important in some mission segments. Most notably spy missions, you're going to want to be able to get through without alerting enemies because noise can cause you to fail.
Take what you can. You will require resources to build yourself into a diverse and effective warrior.
Yeah, so what we're doing right now, and what this was a little resource node. And we want to open as much stuff as we can. Oh, here's some ferrite, which you can guess is crafting materials. Pretty much any weapon upgrades you get are going to be crafted by you. You're not going to just find a sweet new rifle. Instead, on rare occasions, you'll find a blueprint for a new weapon, at which point you'll craft it yourself. And when we get to the point, you're actually going to get most of your blueprints for the first 50 hours of your experience off of the market, and you're going to purchase them with in-game money. Ah, Vor, you're a jerk.
You're not ready to face Vor now. Use your melee weapon to block the beam and get inside.
So you're going to block with R2 with your melee weapon equipped. And your melee weapon has to be equipped. And you'll switch to equipping it by holding down... Ah, guys, I'm trying to teach new Tenno. I'm making it very difficult.
I will guide you to your old ship. It's your only chance.
The Queens wants to destroy you, but I need to know more.
Oops. There. We've released the lockdown. We can continue on.
Get out of there, Tenno. You will have to face Vor another time, when you're fully restored.
Rainier, my sons, prepare the reinforcements. We need that Tenno.
A Tenno flows like fire over the battle terrain. Do you remember how to dash across walls?
And I'm going to be taking the rifle, because early on, I think being versatile is more important. The rifle is going to be excellent at clearing out waves of enemies. The bow is... The bows in this game are freaking awesome. I'm not going to lie. The arrows will pin enemies to walls. They'll launch them off of rooftops. Bows are cool as hell. If you want to feel like a badass, absolutely pick the bow. But for this point in time, mechanically, I'm totally going to be grabbing the rifle just to make things a little bit easier on myself. But again, there's no wrong answer.
I'm not sure what Vor has done to your Warframe, but we cannot remove it now. Just keep going. Your ship is up ahead.
Don't feel too attached to your starting weapon choice. Because we're not going to be keeping them too long. Like I said earlier, most weapons in the game can be pretty viable, with the exclusion of these starter weapons. Other things that may confuse players about Warframe at first is the story. It may initially feel like, God, Lotus.
Vor's reinforcements must be on their way.
Forgot how chatty she can be in these opening missions. Whoop! That was close. That was almost embarrassing.
System so we can restart the ship. You'll have to bypass the security on that panel.
There was a sniper. Ah, there you are. Security panels. These are going to come in two primary flavors, Grenier and Corpus. This is a Grenier one. The Grenier ones are timing based. The Corpus ones are actual puzzles.
Stop touching me, you... What? Are my senses deceiving me? Operator, is that you?
Enemy reinforcements are here. Ship Cephalon. We require immediate extraction.
The operator is in danger? I will need a few moments to cycle the engines.
Oh, well, that was...
Are you afraid?
Grenier aren't bright.
You cannot hide from these old eyes. I've marked you. You will return to me.
I'm detecting a large security force heading your way. It's the Grenier. The ship is ready. It's time to leave.
There we go. That is the opening tutorial, but the tutorial effectively lasts through the remainder of Vor's prize, which is kind of that opening collection of missions. And now we will be introduced to our landing craft, which is where you will be spending a good portion of the game. This is where you will go to get yourself equipped, get yourself suited up. Hey, our daily tribute. Awesome.
Operator, you have returned. I am Odysee, ship Cephalon, a shadow of my former self. I cannot serve the operator in such a condition. Order me to self-destruct. I will understand.
The Grenier are ravenous for this old technology. It is superior to theirs. Perhaps there are systems left in the orbiter compartment?
Yeah, so our first time here, most of this stuff is not going to work.
Components have been removed. The lower orbiter compartments have no life support. Why did the operator abandon me? Arsenal management could be restored if the operator wishes it. You honor Odysee. Now I can supply the operator with better modded firepower. Oh, the violation. Those have been looted as well.
We need to figure out what Captain Vor has done to you and stop him, but we'll need help. I've found a communication segment we might salvage for your ship. When you are ready, activate your navigation system.
Odysee hopes the operator will punish the Grenier for dismantling it.
Another piece of advice that I would give you right off the bat is how currency in the game works. There's two primary currencies. There's actually more currencies, but these are your two primary ones that you're going to be working in mostly. You have credits, which is this number on the left with the blue icons. And that is the standard in-game currency that is earned. This is used on just about everything, but it also comes fairly easy. On the right, we have platinum. Platinum is the real money currency. You are gifted some platinum at the beginning. Don't spend it. Save your starting platinum for purchasing equipment and Warframe slots, because you do have a limited inventory in this game. It can be permanently increased through the use of platinum. If you have concerns about the game being a cash grab, it's really, really not. This is one of the most fair free-to-play games on the market. You can even earn platinum in-game just by playing, and it's not actually that hard to do. It's a great way to support the developers, and Digital Extremes is 100% deserving of that support. They're an amazing company. I haven't been gifted anything by them. I'm not being a shill. This is just what I've learned over the last year of playing the game and watching their dev streams. They listen to the community. They have even gone out and asked, like, okay, what would be a good price? What would be fair to you, the player, for some of these things? Platinum, there's no buy to win. There's no loot boxes. If you want a particular weapon, you can simply purchase it. Boom, a Burstin, 120 platinum. A lot of these are mastery locked because we just started out. We can go over mastery as well. Mastery is your overall account level. Mastery itself doesn't affect the stats or damage of your gear. Everything's unranked. We're not even gaining mastery yet. Ah, we're fresh. Just fresh out of the pod. We're unable to auto-detect your region. Let's take care of that now, I guess. I don't know, gameplay? Network, no. 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 Region. No, no, go back. Okay, there's not a lot of options. That's fine. So for now, starting out, we're going to continue with Vor's Prize. How long of a video is actually of decent length? My initial plan was to just knock out all of Vor's Prize in one go, and I no longer think that that's going to happen. I also got to get ready for work. But I do want to continue doing these videos. It'll be a great way to help bring newcomers into the series, because if Warframe suffers from any one issue, it's that it doesn't communicate what it expects from the player very well. The game is fantastic. You can tell that by looking on Steam's most played games, because it's been continuously in Steam's top 10 most played games for over a year now, I think. I've been playing the game since the last major expansion, the Plains of Eidolon, came out heavily. I tried it before then and just didn't get into it. Didn't understand it. Didn't feel like there was any story. Didn't feel like there was any customization. And it's all there. And it's just kind of hidden behind layers and layers of depth. Discovering the game's systems was a great joy for me once I sat down and decided to learn the game. But if you're not that kind of player and you're just kind of lost, then I hope this video series helps you. And there's a lot of great beginner guides online. But it is going to depend on your playstyle. Some people are going to enjoy the game more if they're just kind of set loose in it to discover it, with the promise that there is a lot to discover. There is a really deep, well-written, and well-acted story here. For your first, 30 or 40 hours, you're not going to be seeing it. You're going to be very confused. You're going to think that I am a liar and that anyone else who is making that claim is a liar. But I can promise you, there's a fantastic story here. Vor's Prize, this first set of missions, really does set it up, but it sets it up in such a clever way that you don't catch it. And even now, going through and playing the beginning again, I was like, oh. But okay, that's enough. This will be it for this morning, I suppose. We will come back later with more of this walkthrough slash guide slash let's play. Thank you for watching, everybody. I'm your host, Saigan. And I will see you all next time. That's not the right button. Damn you, Switch controls. Yeah, there we go. Bye.